Officials say these massive discharges are permitted because combined storm and sanitary sewer systems in Oakland and Macomb counties cannot handle the flow when we get heavy rains. If they don't discharge into Lake St. Clair, sewage will back up, including into basements. This is controversial, political, and emotional. Sewage overflows during heavy rain. This is the Red Run Drain in Oakland and Macomb counties that flows into the Clinton River and Lake St. Clair.
Okay, I'm going to show you how thick this vegetation is here.
Doug Martz shows us the 3 to 4 feet deep muck along parts of the shore of Lake St. Clair. He lives nearby on this boat canal, or what was a boat canal, now overgrown, stagnant green, and also filled with nasty black muck.
There's times I go in my backyard and the sewage smell, the hydrogen sulfide gas smell, I can't go in my yard. I got to keep my windows shut.
He's been fighting to fix this for more than 2 decades.
Every time one of us in this Detroit metropolitan area goes to the bathroom, whether it's number 1 or number 2, it ends up in our lakes, right? Some of it. Is that what we're talking about here?
To some degree.
Mike Gutto set up the Save Lake St. Clair Facebook group. He wants to get you involved.
You ask what's the catalyst that's going to make everybody wake up? The day that they say, don't drink Detroit water. Don't turn on your taps. And I'm not hoping that happens.
Does this really affect all of us? We asked the Oakland University Director of Environmental Science.
So it definitely affects drinking water quality, because any drinking water treatment doesn't remove 100% of what's there.
This is the Coon Retention Treatment Basin that takes in water from 14 Oakland County communities where they have old combined storm and sanitary sewers. During a heavy rain or snowmelt, the sewage is diverted here rather than to Detroit for treatment. This facility can hold up to 120 million gallons that can later be sent to Detroit. But anything over that, it has to be discharged. The water is treated, screened, skimmed, settled, meaning most of but not all of the sludge or human poop is removed. Then the water is disinfected with sodium hydrochloride or chlorine and then discharged. It happens from a few to dozens of times a year. Similar retention and treatment basins are also in St. Clair Shores at the Chappaton and Martin facilities. All 3 discharge here into Lake St. Clair. And this is where it turns very political. The biggest polluter is Oakland County?
Oakland County. They sent, so far this year, 750 million gallons of sewage. That's the biggest polluter.
And I don't think we're contributing any kind of significant pollution to Lake St. Clair from this.
We're upset with that. Right. You know, we have a basin.
Have you taken that to the state DEQ?
It will be going to the state.
Well, how many years have you been in office?
24 years.
The Michigan Department of Environmental Quality is the agency that permits the discharges. It's a second best.
It provides for limited treatment.
And are those standards high enough?
They meet full body contact standards.
The discharges can force Lake St. Clair beaches to close. And get this, according to Dr. Schweitzer, that testing is flawed because water samples are taken near the surface of the water. She says the real trouble lurks on the bottom.
It is at the highest concentration in the sediments. The sediments store those microbes. So I feel that testing, the way they test, doesn't necessarily protect human health.
Another controversy, the green, the muck, the green growth have taken over big parts of Lake St. Clair.
The sewage discharges are a major contributing factor.
Paul Gutierrez paid $30,000 to dredge it all out of his lakefront house early last year. This year, his lakefront is again overgrown, and he's selling his house at a huge loss.
Would they want this same treated waste in their swimming pool? Obviously no.
Would you discharge that effluent into a pool and swim in it?
My personal opinion isn't relevant.
A dog, excuse my language, a dog won't crap in its own water bowl, but we do.
We found the treatment of the discharge, called effluent, is second best and still allowed by regulators. Dr. Linda Schweitzer of Oakland University is an ecotoxicologist and has studied Lake St. Clair for 15 years.
Some of the solids are removed and then it's disinfected. And so if you were to test that water when it leaves, it's probably fine. It's not pathogenic. But what they're forgetting about is these bacteria that live in those sediments.
Remember, she says decades of legacy pollution lives on the bottom of Lake St. Clair, and it's reactivated by the millions, even billions of gallons discharged.
And all they need is a little bit of nutrients. So every time we have these sewage overflows, it fuels the bacteria that are already there.
And in extremely heavy rain, every few years, officials concede the facilities discharge raw sewage, not treated.
These things, I mean, they've happened in the past. We've had things where a permit has been violated. I mean, that's just kind of things happens from time to time.
You give them a pass because it was Mother
It's not
Nature.
it's okay, but it's case by case. We don't just say,
Sure.
you know, we don't just look the other way. We evaluate every time there is a violation.
The RTB's retention treatment basins are not the same as full wastewater treatment plants.
That's not E. coli or feces, that's seaweed. That has nothing to do with us.
We tried for days to talk with the Macomb County Public Works Director for this report. He's running for his political life in the November election and now running TV ads. On the day we showed up unannounced, we also found him exiting stage right while shooting that TV commercial inside his discharge facility. He later provided us this voucher and campaign check showing he paid for it, $500.
E. coli is killed, we take samples, we send it to DEQ.
Is the DEQ ever here to double check that?
They probably make spot checks, I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No, I'm not sure. Did they check the
That
health
sounds
department?
a little fishy given what happened up in Flint with the water crisis up there.
Well, that's Flint's problem. I mean, I got nothing to do with Flint.
Nobody wants another water crisis, and it is a balancing act for Detroit and the Great Lakes Water Authority to constantly test the Lake St. Clair and Detroit River water and adjust treatment levels to keep our drinking water safe. Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.